I'm in the company of an amazing lawyer,
Satyaya, who are 60 plus lawyer.
a stalwart in the intellectual property space, technology law space, media space, commercial litigation space at all.
So if you want more money, you need to be more productive.
Very excited to be in his company.
We have only one home to live in, that's our body.
Apart from being an amazing lawyer with a great body of work, he's also a very vibrant personality.
I'm also a non-conformist.
He embodies the rare lawyer who does not just practice law but also lives richly outside it, and someone who has shown that discipline in fitness and mindfulness can be as important for a lawyer as discipline in drafting and advocacy.
I like being outdoors.
And I'm going to introduce you to him.
I've lost the best cases which I thought I'll never lose and won the worst ones which I thought I couldn't win.
His name is Senior Advocate Chander Lall. I want to quickly tell everybody about my perception, my perspective of you when I first got introduced to your name.
Okay.
Of course, the body of work is something that everybody used to talk about. But even before I saw you, the first thing that everybody told me was, you know, there's this lawyer, a senior lawyer who's very fit, and he rides a bicycle to the Delhi High Court every day. And I used to be so amazed by that because when you're younger, fitness is something for most people, I mean, people like me at least, who don't carry it forward in later years of their lives. It is something that really blows your mind also, especially with somebody who's a senior advocate with an established practice. So tell me something about that part of your life. How did you manage that with work and everything?
So I've been an outdoor person from childhood. I don't know how I became a lawyer. I come from a family of lawyers and I wasn't my first choice because I just could not fathom sitting behind a desk and working for hours. I used to catch a cold if I had to sit for an hour or so behind my desk. I was a terrible student. I'm very gregarious. I could party 24/7. I loved the outdoors. We used to live in Panchsheel Park and my school was Barakhamba Road Modern School. I wouldn't go by school bus. I started cycling. Give credit to my parents for permitting me to do that. That time Delhi was a safer place. So as youngsters, we could at 13, 14 years of age. Today, no parent will allow you to cycle, but we used to cycle to school. I used to race with the school bus and do that. And then I joined the Delhi cycling team and I was, on the Delhi cycling team. So cycling was my first passion. I took part in the national games, the 1982 trial games before the Asian Games. Oh. When I was super fit, I used to do the 200-kilometer road race, which was my, what I did. And I unfortunately had an accident which I couldn't finish that race, but I somehow felt that I could have beaten the Indian team at that time, but I was all of 17, 18 and maybe it was just foolhardy of me. So cycling was always a passion. So when I started working, I didn't see any reason why I should change my habits. And it's something if I enjoy, I must do it. And I did it. So I went to court and I'm also a non-conformist. I don't believe in as a lawyer, I need to be dressed in a particular way or I had to behave in a particular way or that I can't go to court on a cycle and that I must have a big car. Then I bought myself a little Reva, which I thoroughly enjoyed driving. I think I drove that for 7, 8 years. And I just liked the size. And when they came out with the second version of Reva, it was a little bit bigger. And I said, why have you made the car bigger? I'm not going to buy the second one because it's way too big.
It works so much better.
I could park anywhere, anybody's car which was in the width, it was the length of my car. And everybody used to wonder why and as you grow in the profession, you acquire some stature and then you expect it to be governed by the car you drive.
Yeah.
But I drove in a little Reva and I don't think my stature took a hit. In fact, everybody said, oh, Chander Lall can drive a Reva, but we can't. I don't see why.
Yes.
I went for international conferences where all my colleagues were dressed in coat and tie and I was in a t-shirt and jeans. In most cases, I rented a bike and I used to go to various meetings in a bike.
Oh, wonderful.
And shorts and t-shirt. Sometimes it didn't work very well. Like when it was in Germany, in Berlin, I remember there was an embarrassing moment where these German clients with a very large pharmaceutical company were dressed in suits and ties and I walked in sweating because I couldn't get a cab and I couldn't find, so we had to run. and walked in sweating and, in a t-shirt and a pair of jeans. I've never felt smaller. I said, oh my God. And there are three people sitting, perfectly suited. But at the end of the meeting, they wanted to give me the work. Besides the point that they wanted a discount, and I refused to give them a discount. So they got insulted. The German intelligence got insulted that he wouldn't even offer me any discount. And I said, why should I give you a discount? Because I don't think I'm more expensive than competition. So I've never conformed to what is a norm. And I don't think I felt that to be a challenge. I go into court, I joke. When I was a young lawyer, I would lose my cool with the judges if they didn't give me the necessary, which they wouldn't as a young lawyer, to a young lawyer. And I was very stern with what I had to do, and I knew that I would get adverse orders, but it didn't really bother me. And, today I'm a little bit more careful because you have a stature to live up to. But I would say that, yeah, my stand and my overall persona has not changed because I've changed from a student to a law student to a young lawyer to a middle-aged lawyer to now
a younger lawyer.
Satyaya hua 60 plus lawyer. So I don't see why one needs to change.
So age is just a number then?
I can tell you, having crossed 60 recently, age is not a number. Anybody who tells you that, the body reminds you every single day, dude, you're not there anymore. And my mind is still telling me the age is a number, but I can't get into the squash court because when I play squash, I play very aggressive squash. I play with somebody 30 years younger than me. I don't let them win. If I win, I'm a terrible loser. I'm a worse winner. I joke, I'm loud. Anybody can hear me in squash courts. When I used to go to Sri Fort, everybody could hear me and yeah, I don't hold back emotions at all, and I don't see why I need to. I'm known to say anything to anybody at any time and get away with it because there's no malice in what I say. I like to believe, and people accept it. I mean, I take all kinds of liberty with women. I hug every woman in the High Court, and I'm known as the hugger, and all kinds of rumors run around. I don't care. They're friends, and I would hug a guy, I would hug a girl as the same, and there's no malice, and I don't think anybody's objected. So I don't think one needs to change. So I don't like the perception of lawyers who say that the profession takes us away from what we love doing. We have only one home to live in, that's our body. If you're not going to take care of your body, and this is a message to all young lawyers, no amount of money, no amount of fame is going to, keep you going.
I get that, but that's also how you were as a person. It was always your personality. A lot of people are having to push themselves to work out. People like me who can't really maintain the motivation or the discipline, perhaps, to stay in that mode of always keeping fit, of always making sure that we are doing something for ourselves or our physical selves. So I think I want to hear from you any advice that you give to such people who want to keep that motivation high up. Of course, our bodies are temple, but how do you really train your mind to make sure that it goes that way always?
So, I mean, we all enjoy doing various things. And I find in the legal profession, because it's such a demanding profession, and I do believe that it's not, intelligence can only get you 20% in law, but 80% is hard work. You just got to read and read. And intelligence can't tell you what cases were cited and argued and decided and how they were decided. So you got to just read and read and read. So it takes hours and hours of work.
Yes.
I think we lose perspective to think that now that becomes our priority. And as a result of that, we lose interest. Now cycling. Why is it so surprising I cycle to court? That is something, I enjoy it. I would from Saket to here in Sundarnagar or to the High Court would take me 30 minutes by car and 30 minutes by bicycle. In many cases, I was faster because there were no traffic lights I had to, bother about. And I would come faster.
But it was surprising because nobody does it. So whatever other people don't do, it's always a surprise. It's always...
So it's not a chore. The point is, it's not a chore. I like being outdoors. Now I go for treks. I love the outdoors. If I go for a trek, I'm not fit. I'm not going to enjoy the trek.
Yes.
So I'm going to go with another team who's fitter. Right. I've had a bunch of friends who do the outdoors for a living. So I have to go with them. I have a friend from Bombay who will one fine day say, we've been training for the last 1 year, we're going Manali Leh cycling, and I decide to go 2 weeks before that with no training, and I go and I'll say, very well, there's a car following. If I can't do it, I'll sit in the car, and I do it.
That's so amazing, because even in mental health, they say you should have communities or people around you specifically who like what you do as well. So you've
Exactly.
built that around you.
Yes, I didn't get rid of my friends who were outdoorsy. I didn't get rid of my friends who were partying. I didn't get rid of my lawyer friends. So I developed lawyer friends. You develop different friends, but you don't lose touch with them because they keep you in touch with reality. And if you are interested, if you like playing good squash, you'll keep yourself fit. There's no question of you forcing yourself to do anything.
Yes.
Now, if you want to go to the gym, if you like to see your body, you'll keep yourself fit. If you like to trek, you've got to be fit. You want to cycle and take part in competitive cycling, you'll have to be fit. And if you have to be fit, you'll take out time.
So it's like you focus on the outcome.
I think we lose focus to say, this is my life and I must make it. I've worked 18 hours a day. My kids grew up 12 years. I didn't see my kids grow up. I regret that. I should have not done that. I can't get that time now for the love of any amount of money. But so I did pay a price. In retrospect, I shouldn't have paid that price. But even in those 18-hour days, I took out time because I felt miserable if I was sitting for 18 hours. So I came up with procedures and methodologies where I would have a stand-up desk. I would read about what needs to be done to stay fit, because if you're sitting for that many hours, when I went to Inter, I didn't take cabs, I walked. I made sure my secretary had enough time, tell me the walking distance when Google came out. They tell me the walking distance from point A to point B and give me conferences only between the period that I will walk. And to make me walk, I'm not going to wear a suit and tie. I'm not going to be sweating in a suit and tie. I'll wear a t-shirt. And so I'll pay the price of not being well dressed as against not compromising of what I really love doing. And walking also made me meet people, looked around. I picked up more work with my attitude than many people wearing suits and ties. And then I had to tell my colleagues, for God's sake, get out of this mindset of just looking at labels of people and clients and only talking to those people who think who can give you work. People are not looking for uninteresting people. Yes. Have stories to tell. And if I had stories to tell, I made friends. And I've had friends who are top, who could give me so much work but never did all their lives. And said, we can't. We love you so much, but we love our current attorneys. I said, that's fine. That doesn't mean you're not going to be my friend. And so I enjoyed going to Inter. And I met many of my lawyer friends who said, it's such an experience, it's so lonely. I said, because you're looking for something so specific that when I started going to Inter, India was a nothing country. My firm was a nothing firm. Chander Lall was nobody. Where you're talking of Citibanks, Coca-Cola, Pepsi Cola, Warner Brothers, that's the level you're talking about, who have a global, they're looking after IP global. Nobody is looking at your badge and showing any interest in you. They've already got a law firm.
The best. Yeah.
The best. And you're not going to make a mark by wearing a suit and tie and trying to go shake their hands and say, hello, I'm Chander Lall.
Yes.
Hello, I'm Chander Lall. You want to party with me? Come with me. If you don't want to, you may be Citibank. And I'm mentioning Citibank because there were 3 lovely ladies who, we just used to party together. And they couldn't help but give me work. And that then translated when I came back and transferred that work to people to do that work. I said one thing, I haven't got these people to make money out of. They are my friends. I want you to work for them as my friends. If I hear a criticism from them, and then as we grew, I had to hand down the work to people.
Yes.
So they realized that. And now the quality of work is going to suffer because now I'm not servicing them. Others are servicing from 20%, then it moves to 30%, 40%. They understand that you've got now multiple clients. You don't only have us as your client.
Yes.
And they were mortally scared of, reporting. And I said, now you make friends with them. And I handed over the baton to them. I said, now you've got to make friends with them.
So that's a good business advice that you're giving out as well.
Yes. What happened? When I went to Inter, there were 10, 12,000 people there. Without any exaggeration, I knew 10,000 of them. I could not go from point A to point B without meeting 50 people. When I got designated as a senior advocate, by then, we throw a huge party. There are 1,000, 2,000 people party as Lall Sethi. At my own party, I didn't know 80% of the people. And I was being introduced, this is the famous Mr. Chander Lall. Oh, we've heard so much about you.
Yes.
So I stepped away and I said, you take over now. Of course, those people who I was with also then became retired, older. So it's a different mindset. And
You know, that's why I thought about asking you this question. You built a firm, a brand, when social media was not there. It wasn't anywhere in the picture, I think, initially, of course. But now everything is about selling things on social media, virality. So if your brand is not marketed that way, it will not be noticed that way. So that's some great advice that you're giving out. And how did you do it? Anything else that you'd like to point out?
ours was more you had to move, and your own persona and personality is what mattered, how you met people. And
Does that generally apply to law or?
it applies to every sphere. It applies to every sphere. When you're in a conference of that nature, and all my work came from there, and everybody around you is looking out for work, and they're sucking up to you, and if you're an interesting person, everybody wants interesting people, and personalities matter. Work ethics, I think all good law firms should not have as top people good lawyers. They should have good people with business acumen, people who don't necessarily practice hardcore law but take care of a firm. You've got to manage so many people.
I agree.
And that's a challenge which most lawyers face. And that's the challenge I faced. You have to, I went to court, I went to solicit, I did the work, I did everything from scratch.
So there have to be multiple things that a lawyer needs to do if they want to be successful, per se, that in terms
Well, I'm
of...
talking IP law, which required filings at the trademark registry, a lot of repetitive work. Filings just meant putting out 5 pieces of information on a piece of paper and then billing clients, but meant every 10 years you've got to renew a trademark. So it was very basic level work to then going higher up into conflicts and then going to court. I went to court to file trademark applications, went to court, and then meeting very big clients and soliciting their work, and then making sure that you deliver at the international levels, and yet cycle to work or get out and go for a trek. So whenever I went for INTA, I went and climbed a few mountains. We found a group there. We got, in the local newspaper, we got the trekking team went and climbed this mountain, the Mount Shasta in California. We did Rainier.
That's what I'm saying. If you love something like
Yes.
that, you automatically want to attune your body, your mind to that. So I think that's required.
So now you could say, but now you have to carry your formal clothing and then carry a whole rucksack with all. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And after partying for 5 days at INTA, where you start at 7 in the morning and don't end in 5 in the morning the next day, to then get up and go and climb a mountain, you've really got to love what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And I had to do it because I just wanted to do it. If I'm in Seattle, why will I not climb Mount Rainier?
You're also very fond of nature. You have a lot of nice nature-centric paintings around your office. Your office is full of greenery. We've also spoken about it, environmentally, and you live also on those lines.
Yeah.
Your office was the first one to go paperless, if I'm correct.
That's correct.
How did you do that? How did you make that change? Why did you make that change? Adaptability-wise, was it hard for you? Because I'm sitting here with a paper. I could have easily had my phone in my hands, but I find this more comfortable. So adaptability-wise, how do you suggest people change or move?
So there were many levels why we went paperless. One, of course, I'd like to believe I'm an environmentalist. I hated wasting paper. Every sheet of paper that I wrote on, I thought, why am I doing this? And then point number 2, profitability went down. Paper was expensive. Printers were expensive. Filing was expensive. Staff had to be hired. We had office spaces which were short of space, and files were taking up those spaces. If you're in a nice posh area and if you're using 50% of that or 20-30% of that for files at high costs of rentals, it's harming your business and it's harming your efficiency greatly. So if I'm sitting with a file and now the email started coming in, we were printing emails, and when you print emails, you get the history. So everybody was printing pages and pages of emails, which was becoming impossible to read because each email had 20 pages below it. And then those same 20 pages were repeated before the previous email. It was just stupid form of, nobody just printed the last email and put it in, right? So there was paper and it became tedious. And if I'm sitting with the file, the boss is sitting with the file, somebody gets an email, they can't respond till they get the file. And if the PN comes and asks for the file from me, I'll say, no, leave it. If it's lying on my table, I must be having to work on it. So if they're sitting for 2 days, in the meanwhile, they'll say, okay, till the file is coming, I'll have a coffee. So every email which could be done in 5 minutes was taking 50 minutes. or 15 minutes. So I had a person from my office walk to each person and said, tell me how the timesheets are working and why are we so unproductive? And because you're unproductive, I can't pay you well. So if you want more money, you need to be more productive. So for being more productive, I need to see what your billings are. And they said, file is a major point. So I said, okay, let's start making digital files. And I personally went down, I made trolleys, got a carpenter to make trolleys. This is where the file will go. This is where one paper will come. This is where how you'll open the file. You had to, unclip, you had to remove the staples, scan.
So that took a while. That took a while, I'm sure.
Oh, years. We got an agency which had underprivileged children. They said, we'll train these children to scan for you. We want a cheaper scanning. I don't want to do it in my office. That's a lot of space taken because now scanning means moving files on a trolley, taking them one place, then refiling them. So we sent those files out to where those children did that scanning. We paid them well. Some of those children we got to our office and said, that space you use because you must go to school. So you keep studying. They didn't have a place to study. They couldn't study where they were staying. So we offered them a place to study in our office. So 3 hours they used to come and study. 2-3 hours they used to work scanning, make some money, go back to the parents who were happy that they were doing some work. And so I think I'm socially conscious. I like doing that. So I kept looking for options for reducing the environmental burden of my office. Pure economics, that I need to increase productivity and reduce costs. And one fine day, I remember we said, now we're going to destroy the files because now we are doing multiple files, right? We are cutting, pasting emails into a Word doc and putting them into a computer. Then we are printing those and keeping backup copies, and everybody was holding on to paper like you are and saying, we can't let paper go, can we? One fine day we said, burn the files. We couldn't have just given it away to a Raddi, so we had to burn the files. We had a big thing and started burning files. Space started getting more and more and more. And came one fine day, I think 15 years ago, we didn't have a single paper file.
But adaptability wise is what I'm thinking about, because how do you suggest people make that change even if they're not conscious environmentally and they want to, because now the world requires it in terms of everybody going digital, everything going digital. So how do you suggest people adapt to this change?
But now I think just work on if you work on a digital file, I think you're stupid to work on paper after that. Because, I read a newspaper and I start doing this. Why isn't it becoming larger? I can't read very well now, and I'm so used to, I can't read paper. I'm exactly the opposite. They hand me a judgment. I'll quickly tell my junior, pull it out of SCC and put it on so they put it on a OneDrive and it immediately gets uploaded to me. And then I start reading it. So if somebody hands me a piece of paper, I struggle to, because my specs are tuned for the computer screen, not for paper. And that's why I said age is not just a number. So I just convert everything and start, And so adaptability, I think it's today, you see the programs that are available, you can search easily.
Scan easily.
You convert it, you OCR your file, you can search keywords.
Yes.
With liquid text, you can go from one place to the other so quickly, across files so quickly. So if you're still struggling, you file dena and document file idhar hai, or the part 1 file is here.
What the gap is? I think it was to do with the way we were studying in schools, and it continues. We are all studying from books. So we are reading in books, we are underlining books, we are highlighting books when we're giving exams.
I know, but there has to be adaptability. And it was a struggle. I'll never forget the first day I went to court with a computer and I got stuck in the middle of my arguments because I didn't know how to navigate the computer. And the judge kind of looked at me and he thought I was playing games, because that time computers were just meant for... Nobody thought that I was reading a file, and I'm not going to name the judge, but he passed a comment and said, Mr. Lall, if you stop playing with your computer, can we get to work? So I just shut my computer and said, Judge, at least I'm trying something new. Can you just give me 2 minutes? And I came back up, and then I used to go that time, travel a lot to other high courts. And I was surprised everybody knew me as a man who comes with a computer. Today I go walk in with a computer and I can't find anybody who doesn't have a computer.
Yes.
I presented my friend Sandeep Sethi with a computer and he handed it down to his daughter, and today he has 2 iPads and he's running through them, and so it doesn't make sense today. But today adaptability is about how much will you read with AI.
Yes.
Then came the internet, and now the new avatar is AI, and the new generation today is pulling out stuff from the AI and sending you reports quickly.
Yeah.
You ask your junior to do...
AI to prepare a brief?
Oh, of course I would.
You would?
I don't prepare briefs anymore, but for research, yes.
I mean, generally, if you would have to write something legally.
I am
or
sitting in
other
court,
people-
and if I need a question answered, I go to OpenAI and put it in that.
People don't use Google anymore to ask questions. I think
No,
that's
OpenAI is
completely
fabulous.
changed.
Yeah. Even Google, you can look at it, but OpenAI gives you specific answers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making a waterfall in my house. I just give it description, make a waterfall like this. Now I say make the rocks bigger. Now make the water 20% less. And then it says, should I now give you the entire manufacturing basis? And it tells you this is the kind of pump you need to buy. These are the 4 pumps. It's just amazing. It just...
It is.
So I'm telling my designer, I said, give me a 3D. He says 3D will take so many days. I said, I'll just prepare it. These are my specs. I put it in OpenAI. Within 3 minutes, it just says making.
That also comes with a lot of legal implications, because now there's a case going on also in the Delhi High Court against OpenAI by a publishing agency. How do you see it as an IP lawyer when you're looking at the copyright versus copyright aspect in terms of journalism, in terms of creations, in terms of creator economies, and how AI is placed in all of this? Do you think it will be problematic in the future if things don't fall in place or there are no specific laws in place?
They'll fall in place very quickly. I'm actually representing music companies against OpenAI.
Okay.
So we intervened in that same application. I argued before the court as well for almost 2 hours or more. So, so obviously my views are a little biased because I've looked at the entire aspect only squarely from a copyright owner, and it's also biased because I've always represented the copyright owner. And OpenAI is not the copyright owner, it's a consumer of the copyright.
Yeah.
And let's be very clear, it's a technology which is entirely dependent on creative input. OpenAI will only give you results from what is fed into it, which is true of human mind as well. If you're eating rubbish, you'll come out with rubbish. Even your mind doesn't work unless you eat healthy food. Similarly, your AI, the software has to eat very healthy, copyrighted subject matter for it to be efficient. And I think a time will come when AI companies will make enough money, which they already are, and there will be enough to pay the copyright owners, creative. Everybody said music is going to die when, some online music started coming, everybody started putting it. How do I now enforce? Earlier we were raiding Palika Bazaar for CDs, first cassettes, then CDs. Then said, now what do we do? Anybody, one music goes into 100 platforms, how do we stop it? Today you're getting orders, open-ended orders, you're directing all the internet companies to block these sites. So there are remedies. Similarly, this will go through its process. AI does need change in laws. It will need an understanding that do they need a license or don't they need a license? Is it mere training for training, using training material? Their argument is it's like a human reading a book and then churning out stuff. If I read a book and go and argue in court, citing that book from memory, is that copyright infringement? The answer is no, but the computer is not that. Yeah. The computer is able to churn out verbatim. They make a copy of the entire work and they learn from that. And if today you're not using Google, you're not using most fora which will give you the actual book for sale. Maybe you don't even read an Amazon book if it's available on OpenAI and it's going to give you, if it gives you the whole book.
Yes.
Or it gives you even news, for example. I today for news will go to OpenAI. They'll give you the latest news. So why will you go to a newspaper site? So why would an ANI? How would an ANI survive? If you're picking up stuff, they give that to Times of India, and then Times of India trains the AI and then gives you excerpts that and crunches news from 20 different sources, including Times of India, which is the ANI source, and that's the case.
Yes.
Should ANI be compensated? And if AI is making the money, then certainly I think the copyright owners need to be compensated, because if you don't compensate them, I don't think AI will become the creator to that extent. Yes, there are now models which are going to do their own thinking, but they're not going to be creative the way humans are. So human creativity has to be matched with computer creativity and brought together, because computer creativity will learn from human creativity and then go and rise from that. And similarly, human mind will rise above that. Earlier we were told in school to do 1 + 1 = 2 and do tables of multiplications. Then there was a talk about whether you should use calculators or not, and then calculators were permitted and said, oh, this is the end of mathematics to the traditionalists who said, you've really got to learn those tables because we were so quick.
Yes.
You know, who was that lady who used to, the mathematician?
Yes. Yeah, I don't remember.
Some Devi,
Yes.
I knew her son as well very well. So, you know, that's the kind of minds that Indians had now with calculators and then came computers.
But just deviating from the whole conversation, do you think it will dumb down people also?
Not at all. It will make them smarter.
You think so?
My God, earlier to research, you had to go to a British library, American center. Today, Google. Now, OpenAI. So you will not do some basic research. Now, I don't think the new generation is used to reading a case law from top to bottom. You do keyword searches. I've started doing that as well. Where do you have the time to? But as a result of that, within an hour, I'm able to read 20 cases. Whereas in the traditional way, if I was picking up an AR and reading it and then marking it, I would learn a lot of side stuff. Yeah. But my pointed stuff would be 10%. So the traditionalist will tell you, but you learn 90% outside of the case. But hello, I had limited time for 10%, and I want that concentrated material for my case now. So things have become quicker, right? I remember my father used to write out letters. They were typed. They were sent by post, 8 days to reach. They would type, send back another 8 days. So every matter was taking 15 days to respond, the basic. And then the emails came and said, wow, this is going to change everything. Faxes came, then emails came. Today, there's no time to read. So are you saying somebody who read 2 cases versus somebody who's running through 20 and pointed? It's for specialization. So I don't think you're becoming dumber, you're becoming different. Today's kids know so much more than us. You ask me what? Yeah. I'm not a social media buff, so I don't know. I can't even go through Instagram, and I don't know how to monitor Instagram, and which is sad because I should, but I find it a challenge because I stopped going on Facebook and Insta because I thought it was just too much intrusion into my life. And I didn't like the fact that people, you come to court on cycle. I didn't do it to advertise it, right? So I stopped putting my pictures.
It just became a thing.
So that's fine. If it goes by word of mouth, I don't want to be putting it on Instagram. I started cycling again. I went till last winter. I was going to court on a cycle. I'm going to start again. But now, of course, with my having turned 60 and the air quality is going to deteriorate when the weather gets good.
But the air quality is going to go bad very soon.
Yeah, but I'll walk from here to court, Sundarnagar to court, no problem.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Therefore, now I want to ask you a question about any non-negotiable practice that has anchored you through the intensity of litigation. Any specific ritual or any specific practice you do, which has anchored you throughout these 3.5 decades.
I think honesty to your work. I don't think I've compromised that because that makes me very uncomfortable. Being dishonest to your work then has many repercussions and you're constantly thinking. So honesty, we were dealing with a terrible trademark office which was very corrupt. And I was probably the only law firm which didn't pay them, and I said I refused to pay them to do my work. And when the RTI option came, I stuffed them with RTI applications and said, you don't do my work, I'll send you RTIs. When I was working for the Motion Picture Association of America for almost 10, 12 years, we used to do a lot of raids through police. You know how police works. Didn't pay a dime. Said, we'll give recognition to you. Why, there's no reason why we should have to pay you to conduct these raids. It's equally your job as it is ours. I got into big trouble a lot of times. Palika Bazaar came and said, you come and raid us, at ad hoc times, and we don't like it, and they use violence on me, and then they came and threatened me to my life, and I said, what will you do? You'll kill me. MP is a big organization, they'll hire somebody else. They said, okay, you do one thing, we'll pay you $1 lakh per raid. You tell us which shop you want and how much material you want seized, but don't raid us by surprise. I said, I don't think my days are that bad that I need your help to conduct my raids. Thank you very much. I will do ineffective raids. You can bash me up. You can do what you want, but I will not make that compromise. Did that always get me in good stead? At least I slept easy, right? That I wasn't dishonest to my work. And a lot of time work didn't get done. I told my clients we had to go, but in another matter where the registrar was passing orders against us, I told the client, I said, look, somebody can pay and do this very quickly. I'm going to charge you 10 times the amount because I'll keep going back in writ petitions to the High Court. You choose. I'm going to make money out of my honesty. You want to be dishonest, you can go to another law firm who will pay and get it done. they stuck with me, and others may have thought, many may have picked up more work for getting it done quickly by, So I think honesty just, I don't know if helped my cause or not, or if I lost a lot of business, but it helped me sleep easy. And I think that's very important. If you don't sleep easy, no money, no fame is going to give you any amount of comfort. Now I wear a Whoop, so it tells me my recovery. Right now I've been going for parties, so my recovery is at 11%, sleep is 24%. So if you don't sleep and you don't recover, what's the point? I'm not going to eat 500 rupee notes, right?
I also want to quickly go over a recent news that has been going around, where CJBR Gavai was attacked by a shoe. It was an attempt on him by another lawyer, fellow lawyer, within the Supreme Court premises itself, in the court. So it was very shocking, and just want to understand from you whether you have an opinion on this, about the background of this, if you're aware of that. What do you think should be done to safeguard judges, to make sure these things don't happen? What do you think about that?
I think there are multiple, as I view it. I'm not going to talk of the specific incident. I know why it happened, and I know who the man was, and I know just why Justice Gavai was attacked. Unjustified completely. If you can't protect the judiciary, whether it's, optics, or this was actual, this is the highest court of the land, and if the Chief Justice, the highest judicial officer, is not protected, but then how do you protect somebody taking out a shoe and throwing it? I think it's the intolerance in the society that is developed. And when you give public opinion of a particular nature, extreme right-wing, extreme left-wing, then many will take advantage of that situation. So somebody throws a shoe to come into the limelight, to be seen by somebody else as the hero, that I am the champion of this cause. So you can harm somebody, you attack a film which doesn't appeal to a particular sense, to your constitution, so to say, which you want to appease. So you will take extreme steps to come in the limelight. I think this was just one of those cases where he wanted to, I don't think he was crazy. I think he just wanted to come in the limelight.
He's definitely not crazy, because he's come on record and given interviews.
Yes. So he seems to think that that will get him in favor with somebody, which is a very sad state of affairs. Justice Gavai handled it beautifully by ignoring it, not giving him any importance.
Yes, yes.
And but it hurts the institution. The very fact that you're asking me this question, it's hurting the institution. And everybody's talking about, oh, your Supreme Court Chief Justice is getting hit by a shoe.
Public perception is like that. I mean,
and on the flip side, I've spoken in favor of the judiciary, but on the flip side, people have lost faith in the judiciary. And I'm telling you, as a practicing lawyer, courts of law are only made for lawyers. They're not made for the litigant. They're not made for the judges. They work very hard. Don't get a good paycheck if you're an honest judge. Lawyers who are mediocre, like myself, I call myself a mediocre lawyer. We make tons of money out of adjournments. We make, the whole system is designed for us. It's just beautifully framed for us. The poor litigant. I have been a litigant in my own case, where it was an arbitration against a big builder who sold me a property and then refused to sort of comply with certain terms. I'm not going to name them. But it's still going on.
Yeah.
And I knew the arbitrator, I knew the system. I went to court 20 times.
Yeah.
I didn't have to pay lawyers.
Yes.
I didn't need the money. I didn't need the space. I'm still fighting. If I was a person who was, I didn't have the money, I needed the space, I didn't have money to pay the lawyers, I was cooked. And big industrial houses will take advantage of that situation. People who can afford justice will take advantage of that situation, and our whole justice system is working in that direction. If you can pay for it, you'll get relief. If you can't, stay out of the system. As a result, the common man is not going to court system. So I think it's also showing a frustration to the court system. And I don't just, it's not the judiciary. What do you do? A judge is sitting with 50 cases. My God, I get 4 cases a day. I don't know what to do with it. I get 6 and I go crazy. They do 50 cases and they're expected to read those cases, come and hear arguments, go back, dictate orders, check orders, read next day's file so that, lawyers don't mislead you in court. They're working very hard, but then we are not appointing judges. We are a country of lesser means. Our systems are bad. Adjournments are for the asking. We don't have. I went to the US and studied their systems with lots of judges from here. We went and studied the US judicial system. They've got everything chalked out. When you go to trial, you know what's going to happen. There's disclosure, there's discovery. You know what's going to happen to you. So you fight this case, sure, the state will fight it. You lose, this is what's going to happen. So the lawyer is going to tell you. You lose, and 99% you're going to lose in these facts because of the discovery. This is what is going to happen to you. So plea bargain, finish. So they finished 90% of the cases. Here it's the exact reverse. Yes. You have a useless case. File it. Pada rahega na? What will happen? It will drag. You dispute a property, go squat. We'll file a case. Till the judiciary gets into the whole system gives you relief, till then enjoy it. Families are fighting for years, decades.
Yes.
The other day I was going to the Supreme Court and they have a big board outside they have a pendency.
Yeah.
I mean, it said 7 or 9 cases more than 30 years old. And it's there for the public to see.
Yes.
It's 9 too many, 30 years.
And they've been talking about the journalists and all. I recently saw a post by a very famous journalist saying that the court vacations are something that are affecting work days, and that is something that should be reduced, the number of working days in the courts. So court vacations are affecting the pendency. That was the thought process that was put.
Catching is such a small, I couldn't, first let me tell you, as a lawyer, and as I said, judges work very, very hard. If you don't give them that break, they're going to crack. The systems that they work under, the pressures that they work under, hardworking judges.
Yes.
If you want to sit back and relax, that's also possible. But the pressures that they work under, judges of the Supreme Court come from all over the country. So, you'll take a 15, 20-day holiday with your family. You need a break. Okay, do you need a 6-week break? Make it 4 weeks. Do you need 4 weeks? Make it 2 weeks. Schools don't get so many breaks, but students don't go through that pressure.
Yeah.
But my point is, our High Court has X number of vacancies. There are air-conditioned spaces sitting vacant. Why? By all means, bring ad hoc judges and make them sit during the vacation. Why do we only have 2 vacation benches? Have 10. Yeah. We have unemployment. People wanting to become judges. Why can't you make good people judges who can keep working so your courts are 24/7 open? I'm saying have night courts. There are facilities. We are short of resources. You have a beautiful High Court building. You have a beautiful Supreme Court building. Have 2 sets of judges. You don't appoint. Your every High Court has vacancies. Your Supreme Court has vacancies.
Yes.
So that's the macro aspect. You cut down vacation, you'll get another 10 working days from each judge. What's the big deal?
Yeah.
And if their efficiency goes down, I mean, just see a High Court judge's day. He starts at 10:30 sitting. Then he has a lunch break, then he sits till 4:30 or 5. Sometimes it overlaps now to 6. Now you check, you've passed 40, 50, even cryptic small orders. You have to check them, everything has to be perfect. You have to sign them. Then you start reading the next day's files. They have no family life.
Yeah.
So if you're living in that situation day after day, surely if you give them 4 weeks to your family, what's wrong with it? Don't grudge them that. That's not. But by all means, fill up the courtrooms with those 4 weeks with 20 other judges who are just vacation judges.
That's a suitable solution, actually.
Yes. Give me a 4-week vacation during court. I'll take a 4-week vacation. I'm willing to work as a judge for 4 weeks during vacation. Get competent people. I'm not saying I'm competent, but I'm saying bring people who you think are competent as ad hoc judges. Open up the system so that there is faith and people need justice, and clean up and cleanse up your systems.
Yes.
The whole CPC needs to be modified, simplified. Every system that we seem to incorporate, people find it a way to break it. Because that's how it works. You stand at a red light, when the red light stops working. In the US, everybody will go one after the other because that's how they're used to. Okay, you go. Here we'll stick our cars and be stuck in a traffic jam for 2 hours because we tried to get through. When the red light turned green, I couldn't go through because somebody came the wrong way. So now I'm entitled to go through. And if you stand in line, you'll stand in line forever. Whereas in a country like Japan and the US, when there's a crisis and they stand in line, they stand in line. They don't break lines, no matter what. And if there are 2 pieces of bread lying and there's a shortage of bread and there's somebody behind you, I'll take 1 and not 2.
This is also societal, I think. It's a lot to
It's systems. The society has to work the system. Desi Jugaad has to work. Without Desi Jugaad, there is nothing works. That's the point.
Yes.
If I'm rich, I pay off the police, I can break traffic lights. So Jugaad works. You think the same people go to the US and break traffic lights? No. You think you can pay off a cop? No. So we do it here because it becomes second nature. Why shouldn't I do it? It saves me time. Jump कर लेते हैं, पकड़े गए, ठीक है, चलान भर देंगे, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? You're not going to punch my license or anything. So it's the systems which dictate society. We are coming from villages. We are still agrarian in nature. So we come into cities, we still throw plastic as if it's a banana peel, which will mix into the soil and become manure. It's plastic. We don't think twice. You ever followed a school bus in Delhi? Stuff comes out of it like nothing. People are having juice out, Coke out, cans out, chips packets out. That's our training because nobody cares. We go home, we have servants, they clean. Somebody will clean the streets. Japan, they go watch a match and the people before leaving pick up everything.
Yes. I've seen videos where even students clean the schools after they...
Japan has no bins. No bins. Everybody carries their litter back home and you can't see a piece of litter on the streets.
Amazing.
When you get off a train, there are old people standing with, in a paper bag that you throw your stuff in. There are no bins.
Interesting.
And there's discipline. So, you buy a coffee and you're drinking it, suddenly you don't know what the hell to do with that cup. And then you go into a shop and he has a bin and you request him and the lady will come. I'll never forget this. I gave her my empty cup to throw and she took it as if she was taking prasad from me. Said, thank you so much. And then threw it into... I said, I'll throw it. She said, no, I'll throw it. It's their job.
Wow.
They clean toilets with such pride. Here we have a caste system. Somebody else has to do the dirty work.
Yes.
And that's the point. Our society says a good lawyer, a successful lawyer must drive a big car. Not come on a bicycle. Chander Lall ki to ye style statement ho gayi hai. He does it for style and he gets away with it. But otherwise, hame to badi gaadi drive karni hai. So when I make my first bucks, I must buy a big car. Now that big car, you'll think twice when you reach that destination where you're going to park.
That's immaterial.
Immaterial.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
And it was wonderful speaking to
That
you.
was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was more fun than I thought it would be.